We interviewed Carlo Nakara from the Philippines. Family is a central value in Filipino culture. It is collectivistic, placing heavier emphasis on family than on individuals. It is not uncommon for extended families to live together. With the value placed on loyalty within families, both sets of relatives and sometimes even the entire neighborhood celebrates and helps with the arrival of a baby. Located on the Pacific Rim of Southeast Asia, it's a nation of more than 7,000 islands and almost 112,000 square miles. 40% of the Philippines' workforce is centered in agriculture, forestry, and fishing, and 50% of the population lives below the poverty line. One challenge of Filipino culture is the necessity to work abroad, as around 10% of the population does. Some of their central cultural values include education and religion, with 86% of the population identifying as Roman Catholic and another 8% as Christian.
I was raised by the entire family. First of my generation, and a boy. That makes a lot of difference. Okay. My name is Carlo Dangal Pascual Nakar. Pascual is my mom's maiden name, and Nakar is my father's surname. Carlo Dangal is essentially my first name. Both words part of a one name.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not hierarchies are different. So Carlo is a word that's an Italian name they got out of I don't know. It was cool. I think that's why she picked it.
Cool name.
And there was a lot of Carlos in my generation.
Interesting.
It's kind of the name for like, you know, like a princely name, if you were, you know.
Right. For the time, yes.
Yeah, but Dangal. Sorry, this is hard to get. Dangal. I know why it's hard to get to. It hurts. No. Dangal in Filipino means honor.
Okay.
It's a very deep Filipino word. Not even a lot. You know, some Filipinos don't even know this word, but it means honor. So they put that in my name. So that's why it's like I carry that with me forever wherever I go. It feels like they've introjected the concept into me.
So you said, so you take your mother's maiden name and also your father's surname? And why, you said earlier you have 4 names and your parents have more names?
My mom has more names, yeah.
Where do the other names come from? Does it keep going generations back? Is this a way to represent your ancestors?
Yeah.
Or your lineage?
Yeah. To be able to, you're named after remembered ancestors, absolutely.
Okay. Huh.
And it's all about commemorating and also trying to like a wish, you know?
Yeah.
You wish this child to be like that person, you know?
Who would you consider like the head of your household, or who would make decisions for the family?
Mama and Papa.
So both of them collectively would have a discussion to make a decision? Do you feel one had more power over the other?
Mama made the most money. You see, when they graduated, because they had a baby in their freshman year, they graduated. My dad graduated, took 7 years to get a math degree.
Oh.
Took him a while. My mom, because she had me, only got magna cum laude in her bachelor degree.
Wow.
Because her twin sister got summa cum laude.
Oh, well, that's weird.
But she only got magna because she had to deal with a baby.
So that brings up another question about education and the value of education in the Philippines. Was that a main pressure put on you and your family?
Yeah, absolutely. Because how else are you going to feed the rest of the family?
Right. So since your dad didn't do as well in school as your mom, do you think your mom had a little bit more power and say in things?
Probably more. We were kind of matriarchal.
Okay.
Um, it's not a given in the Philippines that it's matriarchal, but it's matriarchal. I mean, like, don't tell the men this, but it's matriarchal. They think it's patriarchal, but it's not. Because look at who's in power. Uh, the moms and the maids. You know, she's
Mm-hmm.
got she's got him outnumbered. You know,
Yeah.
my family, my mom didn't do none of both of my parents. They did not do any of the budgeting for household food or anything like that. They gave the maid the money, and the maid was the one who figured it all out, cooked it
Wow.
all.
So
Yeah.
the maid took care of a lot of the household responsibilities.
And raised the
and
children.
The family, yeah. Okay, wait,
Definitely.
pause. Do the household help sometimes follow the family onto, another faction of the family?
Yeah, depending on need, basically. When we first got our apartment, I already had a maid for me at that point because when they both graduated, they had to go to work.
Right.
So then they got a maid for me. The maid that takes care of the baby is the yaya. That's the name of the. That's what we. That's the word for it. Yaya, nanny, is the translation. But it's close. It's you see how yaya sounds so much like mama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's that fundamentally close
Okay.
a relationship. You know, that's why people can feel like they can go to America and live there.
Right.
And see their children ever, except for Christmas, and they will survive. You know?
Yeah, because they have that close adult figure in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Raised by a village.
Okay, so you had your yayas, which were more of a parental figure for you.
Mm-hmm.
So receiving affection from your parents was limited, but when it did happen, they were very affectionate with you?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Were they very supportive of your decisions and...
Extremely. They gave me everything I wanted. Largely because, oh God, so many things. Largely because of unresolved pre-edible complex with their own parental figures.
You feel they overcompensated for their own
all kinds of ways.
Issues?
Yeah. Truly doing the best they could. But, you know, having learned so much about human development, it's like they could have done better. You know?
Right. It's always easier. You said your dad was really into cooking, and I know you are definitely a food connoisseur.
Yeah.
Is food considered a very huge thing in your culture?
Yes. Because being together as a family is important. It's the biggest thing. And feeding is when you're the most together, you know? I mean, and why are you doing the work? To feed the children. You know, and then you know, it's all about being able to sustain.
People homes. Mm-hmm.
And
like what happens when they reach that pivotal moment in their life where they need to be taken care of?
Then it switches. At that point, somebody else is making more the money,
mm-hmm.
and they're treated like dependents.
Okay. Do they receive their own household help at that point too then?
There's no, I guess so. If they're sick,
Yeah.
if they can't move, yeah, certainly.
Right.
Like,
How
so,
was religion played out in your family?
well, you know how to be honorable because you're given the rules, you know?
So your family
You
was Catholic?
started Catholic, and then we converted. Very much like the Philippines itself, but um, just to Christian reform, like a basic Protestant. Um, it's actually interesting because the members of my family, like, depends on which church got to them first or really spoke into their particularity, which denomination of reform or Protestant they went.
Was religion a main part of your family structure?
Absolutely. Because it told you how to be honorable. Honorable was honorable was the thing to be. How do you do that? You have the rules. 10 Commandments. Follow the rules of the Bible, the life of Jesus.
Did that integrate a lot into like holiday traditions or celebrations?
Well, the Filipino is very like Christian, is very widespread Christianity. Mm-hmm. In the way that the Filipinos like to celebrate things. So Christmas season starts in October in the Philippines. We don't have Halloween. It's like October happens and the Christmas decorations start. And the big celebrations of every town is the fiesta for the patron saint. Much like in Mexico, there's there's a patron saint for every town, and okay. And that's when the whole town comes and parties, as community, it's like as a communal society, we're all about eating together, Mm-hmm. There are towns that are mostly one family,
Right.
And very big. But traditions for Christmas is
similar, different to like U.S.
Mass. There's like regular midnight mass every day throughout the whole Advent season.
Okay.
So what does that mean? It means people are up at midnight. It affects whether you're able to get up in the morning. It affects lots of fundamental things. It changes culture entirely.
Yeah. So you celebrate a lot of the Christian religion holidays, like you said, Easter.
And then some. In the Philippines, most people know me as Charlie. My name, the thing that people call me, the thing I respond to, is completely different. The reason it was Charlie. Carlo is my given name. It became Charlie because when I was smaller, my head was just as big, but my body was smaller. So I looked like Charlie Brown. And my dad called me Charlie because of that. And in third grade, you know how at the beginning of the year, the teacher asks if you have a nickname you'd rather be called? And I had like 2-3 grades of 4 or 5 Carlos in the same class.
Right.
I wanted to be me. And I remembered that my dad called me Charlie, so I said Charlie. I was Charlie forever. My signature actually says Charlie, not Carlo.
Really?
Yeah. And I have government papers in the Philippines that are under the name Charlie. I did not want to use the name Charlie in the Philippines, in America. Why? I grew up in the 80s, and I watched a lot of TV and movies, and that meant that I watched a lot of Vietnam stories, and every time there was a brown person on TV, they were probably Viet Cong. They were Charlie, the bad guy. And there's the concept of Charlie Chan. I don't even know what the character does, but it's like caricature Asian person. I didn't want to be that Charlie either.
Right.
So I wanted to be brown. But you see how I sort of lost something of myself.
Right.
I lost Charlie-ness.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Well,
thank you. So that seems to be all the questions I have, Carlo. Thank you for taking time to do this project with me and my classmates.
No problem.
And
Thank you, Rebecca, Emily, and Colleen. Nice to meet you. Thank you for your time.
thank you very much for participating.